So this is a inline 6 AMC 258. It's been bored over 50 over. So it's really like a 282, I think it is. Plus we put the DUI electronic ignition in it. And I took the Carter 2-barrel off a few years ago because it finally gave up the ghost. And when we rebuilt this motor, I actually built it for a Weber 800 Outlaw carburetor. It was awesome with that Weber on there because I put the Weber on when the Carter gave up the ghost. And man, this engine just woke right up. However, that Weber carb, if y'all are using them for four-wheelers, don't. There was so much work with that Weber. I put it on. I got 14 miles to the gallon on the highway. This thing gets 10 miles to the gallon regardless of what I'm doing. But with that Weber, I got 14 miles per gallon regardless of what I was doing. But when you start bouncing around with that Weber, it ran like crap. And I called the company, Redline Manufacturing, and talked to them about it. And the owner, Tom, was real cool about it. But he said, you basically have to tear that carburetor apart and do a bunch of drilling and holes and change the floats. And just, I was like, man, I'm not going through all that and tearing a $900 carburetor to pieces to make it work. So I tore it off of there, sold it for $500 to a guy who was building a VW. And I put this Ford 2150 carb on here. And I haven't looked back. It runs great. I'm back to about 12 miles to the gallon, and but I don't care. It's a Jeep. But like I say, we put the DUI electronic ignition in it. I have the battery wired up so I can, unhook it up here, because if you leave it sit for too long, it's a Jeep. She has a little tiny feed somewhere that's got a little drain on the battery. We have solenoids in here that we put in for the winch. We built this winch brace. It's just, a receiver hitch. So I could take the winch off and I can put it in the back of the vehicle. And I did these plugs in the front and back. And I made jumper cables. So all I have to do is pop the solenoid inside, turn it on, and then I can plug in the jumper cables here or in the back to jump something off. There's all kinds of attachments that I've seen them doing now, but we did this back, in the 90s, and they thought it was a cool idea. When I did it, I had to find some place to put my high lift, because when this thing gets stuck, it's stuck. It's posi all the way around. I have Lincoln lockers, we call them, and we laugh about it because a Lincoln locker is basically, I welded the the differentials together. So it's four-wheel drive all the time, or not four-wheel drive all the time, but it's posi traction on all four tires all the time, except for the front. I did put, course worn, good metal hubs in there. And again, these are TSL SX Super Swampers, 35-inch by 15 inches wide on 10-inch rim, or 12-inch rims, excuse me. And I put wheel spacers on them. That's why they have such a wide footprint, which also makes it so it's got a wide stance to it. Of course, the dogs want to go for a ride. Anyhow, so that's the engine. I have a 4-speed T18A transmission. So I have 4-speed with reverse, obviously. This thing, I did this whole interior, built the stainless steel dash. I did put a 76 windshield in here so that I could put a top and stuff on it, because it's really hard to find anything for under a 76. And if you start getting a 75, 74, 73 and earlier, it's really hard to find parts. I have the big roll bar in here. I just put this top on here, let me think, probably about 4 years ago. It had a bikini top on it forever. The lighting in here, again, it's a Jeep. I didn't like the pull ones, so headlights, and of course they're off-road lights. And then I have the red lights in here that I use for hunting, because then I don't mess up my night vision. And then of course we have, regular overhead light. The one cool thing we did do with this is you can see, if I could do this, is this seat. My seat's adjustable. And that's not usually the case in a CJ5. They came with a fixed seat. So what I did was, I did this modification here, as you can see, and box cut that out. It still doesn't hit the tires. It's absolutely awesome. One of the best things we did to this, because my wife is short. Nancy's like 5'1", so the seat where it was at, it was too far away for her to drive it comfortably. And with my knee surgeries and stuff, it was too close for me to drive it comfortably. So the speaker system in here, I just put these Bosch speakers in there. They're wireless, so I didn't have to wire anything. That radio is just for looks, because I did have a radio in here at one point. That radio is actually cut in half. I put a aftermarket antique air heater system in here that actually bolted right in, man. And it's got electronic modules that control it, so I didn't have to worry about vacuum lines and stuff. Again, it's got the T18A 4-speed. It's got a Dana 20 transfer case in it, and I did do the mod where I actually have 2 high and 2 low. The only thing I've got left that I'd like to do this Jeep is put a twin stick shifter in here for the transfer case. It's got Dana 44s front and rear for differentials. I mean, this thing's a tank. And like I say, when you get stuck, and as you can see, this is the bad Jeep of the family. And my wife has, I bought that for her a couple years ago. She loves her Jeep. She's got the black Jeep of the family. But anyway, yeah, I probably shouldn't show my license plate, but I don't care. Y'all can find me. I'm easy to find. But yeah, we had a good time with this. I did have that one custom made. Predator Hunter, saving your cat one coyote at a time. That hooked on quack sticker has been on there since I actually put it on there when I first built this in '97, and then I painted this in like 2004. And I didn't like take my time to do a super fancy job because it's a Jeep. I knew if I put a nice paint job on it, I wasn't going to be wanting to drive it as much. So I did, you know, got the gun rack in there. It's A, to help hold the windshield tight, and B, my ARs will fit in there if I put them in with the barrel facing back, with the cans on them. The speaker system, like I said, is that Bosch. So anyway, that's my Jeep. I get a lot of compliments on this. Everybody wanted me to put it in the car show this year, but the best thing we did was put this top on there, because I drive it in the winter now. It's not a daily driver because the tires, last time I've replaced these tires 3 times, and the last time I did it, they were almost $800 a piece. So we're taking really good care of our tires. That's why this Jeep lives in the garage when it's not getting used. I put 4 11s in the rear in the differentials and 4 10s up front. So I've got a push thing going in the back and a pull thing going in the front. Miss Lily loves her Jeep. She wants to go for a ride. Let's crank this thing up. I'll let you hear it because it sounds like a V8. Everybody thinks I have a V8 in here because of the dual exhaust. Anyhow, let's see. Don't want to run over the dog. Oh yeah. Anyhow, I usually crank it up. I haven't driven it in a couple in about 2 weeks. In the summer I drive it quite a bit. It's got an electric choke in it. I wish I'm going to put a manual one back in there. My back and stuff, I haven't got around to doing it. But anyhow, that's the story of the Jeep CJ5, 1973, 52 years old. Yeah, a lot of fun. Hope you all enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, share. We'll be out teaching here before too long. Love you guys. God bless you. Hope you all had a happy 4th.